Welcome to the Successful Thinking Podcast, where I will share with you the elements for a successful thinking process, and we will talk to people who have a successful thinking mindset. Hello, welcome back to the Successful Thinking Podcast. Today I have with me an amazing person. He's the co-founder and CEO of Celsius Network, 3 times unicorn founder. He's the right person also to talk about crypto. Alex Mashinsky. Alex, welcome to Lisbon. How are you?
Obrigado. All good. Thank you.
Alex, when I was reading about you, there was a statement that touched me, which is doing good, then doing well. The greatest risk is not taking one. Why do you think it's so difficult for people to take risks, especially those risks that are good for them?
Right. So I think it's nature. It's not basically. I think the way nature works is that most of us are not risk takers, and nature is saying, okay, maybe 10-20%. I'm allowing them to take risk. If they take too much risk, maybe they die. And if they take just enough risk, they will move the whole herd forward, right? So nature almost designates people who are the risk takers. But if everybody takes too much risk, then the whole herd may die, right? The whole herd will not survive. So we are born, like I have 6 children, and I can see already, like, who is the risk taker, who's the giver, who's the taker, and so on. So it comes out from the beginning. And so each person, it's not about you changing yourself to be a risk taker. It's not about you changing yourself to be a giver or a taker. You're born a certain way, and you have to make yourself better at what you are instead of trying to change yourself from being what you're not to what you may have a hero and you think, oh, I want to be like them. But really, you are the hero for other people. You just don't know it. So you just have to discover yourself and understand what is your purpose. Because each one of us is a unique experiment. Each one of us is a one-of-a-kind experiment that nature is saying, okay, here, you have a chance. You have a life to live, and this experiment is going to be either very successful or it's just going to be normal. It's not. No experiment is a bad experiment, right? So all of us just have to give ourselves this opportunity to be the best we can be, right? And I always say that each one of us is the best in the world at something, but we just don't know what that is. So when we go to school and we go to college and we do this and that, and we make mistakes. The mistakes we make is not allowing us to be who we are. We make a mistake of trying to be somebody else because our parents told us, or we read a book and somebody told us, oh, you should be this and that, and we believed them. So really, the piece that they don't teach you in school or in college anywhere else is how to look at yourself. When you look at the mirror, who do you see? Do you see the real you, or you just see somebody else that you want to be, right? So the hard part is really watching your behavior, watching your what do you like, what you don't like, and trying to find what is that one thing you can be better than anybody else.
In that line, how do you think people can understand that on that process they can have a successful thinking? Because it's like, yeah, maybe I don't need to change myself. I need to be myself, but maybe I can take a risk of doing something that I want to reach. What do you think that mentally, what should people know that, okay, it's in my thinking process?
So it's a great question because most people think, well, I need to get a PhD in whatever, or I need to have experience, go work 10 years in this and that company. And it's less about that, it's more about first trusting yourself, right? Having self-confidence. For a lot of people it's very hard. So for a lot of people, they doubt themselves, right? You have a thought, an original idea, and the other part of your brain is saying, no, it's a bad idea, don't take that risk. This is too far out, it's too risky, don't do that. So if you trust yourself, then you allow the neurons that come up with the new idea, you encourage them. You say, hey, great, good idea, keep going, let's think about more. And it's not that every other idea is to be a good idea. Even 1 out of 10 ideas, if 1 out of 10 ideas is a brilliant idea, That's it. You don't need anything else. You just need one good idea, right? So the hard part in life is knowing which one is a good idea and which one is a bad idea, right? And many times, like, I have, like I said, I have 6 kids, and 3 of them are in college, and they keep telling me, oh, I want to be this, I want to be that, and I'm like, college is all about experimenting, right? Going to this class, going to this class, going to this class, and your brain will immediately tell, your heart also will immediately tell, oh, I love this. This is what. That's who you have to listen to. Your heart, your brain, and you have to do what's easy for you, because that's really what you are really good at automatically, right? You'll be much better there. You'll make much more progress listening to your heart than following, like thinking, for example, oh, I'm going to be a lawyer and I'm going to be rich and famous, or I'm going to be whatever. So those are the things that I think a lot of people, or young people, make a mistake on.
Perfect. So I want to follow on this thought, which is, then we start working. So our professional life becomes most of our daily activities.
Yes.
But I was sharing with Dave before. There's an article in Forbes saying that less than 50% of U.S. workers feel that they are happy with their job. So more than 50 are not happy.
Yes.
What should be the mindset of people towards their profession, towards their life, especially the professional life?
So 50% unhappy because basically what they do is not what they're supposed to be doing. They know in their heart that I chose this job not because I love it, not because I'm good at it or whatever, or this is my career path. It's I either need the income, or I have to pay my dues, or again, I studied 7 years to become a doctor, so I can't just stop being a doctor and become something else. So in life we have all these other limitations. And again, when you're young, when you're still 18 or 20 or whatever, you don't have kids, you don't have responsibilities, that is when you're supposed to take risk. You cannot take risk when you're 50, okay? But that's too late. You're already, basically, your path is already set in life. So the time to take risk is actually when you have the least amount of experience and the least amount of self-confidence, right? And that's the time you have to trust yourself and believe in yourself, which is the hardest, right? So for most people, the hardest thing is to say, oh yeah, I've never had a job, but I'm going to trust my own judgment. I'm not going to listen to my parents. I'm not going to listen to my friends. I'm just going to do what my heart tells me. Alex, what a crazy idea is that? No, we of course we have to do what other people tell us. So peer pressure many times leads you to betray your principles, your heart principles, right? And that's where, if most people followed their heart, then the happy people wouldn't be 50%, they would be 80%, right? And even if you start a job and you don't like it, and knowing what you don't like is just as important as knowing what you like. Because sometimes you just need to know, you have to have several experiences to know that you have to turn left instead of turning right, right? So those are all important. In the United States, for example, that having several jobs is a compliment, it's a good thing. When they look at your resume and say, you worked here, you worked here, you worked here, oh good. In Europe, it's the opposite. If you move around, no one wants to hire you. So in Europe, if you tell people, go get a few jobs, people look at you like you're crazy, right? So if you have self-confidence and you know you're going to be good at something and you're going to find it, then switching job is a good thing, not a bad thing. Because it's about you, it's not about how other people, employers, look at you. If you're staying in a job and you're not happy, just so that your resume will stay clean, not a good idea.
I'm taking that very personal, because it's indeed, I was exactly with that thought, like, if I'm not happy, why I have to go there? So in my previous experiences, I was like, I need to change. And it was always the parents saying, yeah, but you need to show to the companies that you are patient, that you know how to stay there, and great example.
Yes.
So I really took it. Thank you very much for that information.
You took the risk.
Yeah, I took the risk.
Exactly.
Now I'm living in Amsterdam. I took the risk, so I'm enjoying a lot.
And you're happier, right? So
yeah.
When you're happier, you're much more productive. You're much more. So all these things go together. It's like a chain, right? And you keep adding more and more links to the chain. You make yourself you have a much better, longer experience. Everything is better. Your life is better. Your work is better. you're happier, other people are happier being with you. So it all works together, right? You have energy versus the opposite. It's the opposite effect. So and it all starts with little links, right? You're linking more and more things to what you need.
So, to finish, one last question. Alex, what gives you more joy to do and why?
So I'm a giver. I love helping other people. I enjoy giving, which again it took me some time to discover that, right? Because so sharing knowledge with other people, helping young people find, because again I went through all of that right myself. So when I see people and I know where they're stuck and I can just switch it a little bit and they run, right? They start running instead of crawling on the floor. There's a lot of joy in that, because you know that what's easy for you may be a torture for somebody else, right? It's torture. Like they're sitting there for 4 years banging against the wall, and all you have to do is move them a little bit and they run, right? So things like that obviously with Celsius we are doing that with financial freedom, financial independence, helping people, just moving them a little bit from having bad habits to having good habits, right? Just like with food, you have good habits, bad habits. With finance, you have bad habits. And if you just switch to good habits, suddenly your life changes. Your financial experiences, your financial freedom, everything becomes much more positive.
So if I can ask really shortly, for those that are starting to invest on crypto, let's say if they have 1,000 euros or $1,000 to invest on crypto,
yes,
what would be your suggestion?
Yeah, so crypto is a new world, right? And just like I was talking about college, that you have to experience, go to different classes, it's the same thing with crypto. So there's like families of things that you should have. You should definitely have stable coins, which are things that are connected to euros or dollars or whatever. So very low risk, but they earn interest. You can earn 8% interest, right? So now your money is working for you instead of you working for your money, right? So you should take maybe whatever. If you have, let's say, 100 euros, you should take maybe 20 or 30 euros and put in stable coins and just earn interest on your money. Then you have Bitcoin, which is its own thing. And you should decide, okay, how much I'm putting in Bitcoin, and that's basically the grandfather of all cryptos, right? It's always going to do fine. So you just need to hodl, right? To hold on to dear life, just put some money there and let it ride. Don't touch it, don't trade it, don't get in, get out. And then you have all kind of other things. Ethereum, you have Polkadot, you have Solana, you have Cardano, all these different things. And there you have to read about the projects, you have to learn about the projects. Not about placing a bet and hoping you hit like the lottery, like or like the roulette. This is not a roulette game. You have to read about the project, understand what their purpose, and then you decide. So for example, Celsius, right, and the Cell token. Do you believe Celsius? Do you like their project? Do you like how Celsius is trying to bring financial freedom? Great. We have a token. The token helps the community. And you can basically buy that token and be part of the community, right? So if you don't believe in the project, then don't do it, right? So there's 12,000 projects to choose from, and for each person they're gonna have a different selection. But it's important that you have those like families, buckets, the cash, the Bitcoin, and other. And in the other, maybe you'd pick 5 or 6 different ones that you believe in.
Alex, thank you very much for your time.
Sure, thanks for having me.
Enjoy Web Summit, and see you guys on my next episode.